Are you waiting to build something big? That's the biggest mistake most people make. We refused to wait, we're in our 20s, and we built a home improvement company past $10 million. Not because we knew everything, but because we were desperate enough to figure it out along the way. If you don't want to waste decades playing it safe, and if you're ready to build success earlier and live stories worth telling and stay ahead of the curve, subscribe now. Let's get into the episode.
Get ready to meet Brock, a true builder of people and places at AE Landscape Borders. Since joining in 2024, he's trained leaders, launched offices, and helped shape the culture and grit of AE. Driven by his passion for helping others, Brock lives by one powerful truth: you get what you give. Let's dive into the story behind AE Charlotte's rise and the unstoppable energy that fuels Brock's success.
It's time.
We're choosing from the assortment of the rainbow. We're not sponsored by Rain yet, but we're hoping sometime soon.
Hint, hint.
Oh, Tim.
Oh, at the same time. Ready? Based on your experience, Brock, what is the difference between people who are trainable and people who aren't?
I would say the people that are trainable are asking you questions and listening, and the people who aren't trainable, like whenever you go to tell them something, they're talking too much. Like they're telling you why they're doing something rather than listening to what you have to say and just taking it in.
How do you handle that?
I've gotten better at it for sure. I typically just say, hey, like, look, like I'm showing you this for a reason. I told you you're doing it wrong for a reason. So I don't need like an answer back because you're doing it wrong. So we need to do it this way.
What I heard from that was ego versus humility.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, nobody wants to be told that they're doing something wrong, obviously in front of a group of people. So it definitely comes down to ego.
Who trained you?
So I was trained by Sean Ormiston.
Did we just get that on record?
4K too.
Shout out, Sean. Shout out,
HD
Sean.
audio, 4K video.
He finally gave you creds.
Yep, Sean trained me.
What helped? Do you feel like you were at first, open to receiving, that kind of criticism and training?
I would say at first I was, yeah. But then I feel like it gets to the point where, everybody gets to the point where they just think they know it all. And then, you're ready to go out on your own. But when you go out on your own, you realize that you don't quite know it all yet. So, yeah. I would say early on I was, but as time went on, I kind of got away from it.
It's hard to prepare some people like fully. We always talk about like learning through experience. So I think that's a huge, huge part of it as well, is just going out and getting that experience and then coming back and like self-reflecting and being like, holy shit, maybe I didn't know as much as I thought I did.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Which I think then opens your mind a lot more.
There's a quote, and I'm going to butcher it. It's like, the more I find out, the more I understand I don't know.
Yeah.
And I feel like that exactly, like experience is going to show you how to do it and what you're doing wrong.
If you think about that on the sliding scale, right, the people that are typically at the bottom are the ones that are like, I know it all. I've done that before, the set and third. And then the people that are way up here are always willing to learn, always willing to listen to anybody and see if they can't capture something new.
The principle, like I keep bringing it back up, but there's the difference between the skills and the value you bring as a person. And I feel like you have to have that kind of humility first in order to even get those skills.
Oh, yeah. You know why that is?
Huh?
You know why that is?
Why?
Skill can be taught, will be caught.
I might have to put that in my quote notes. That's nuts. What how was it opening up Charlotte?
It was definitely the hardest greenfield I've had to do, because the first one I did, I had Sean with me the whole time. So, but that one was completely different. We're 9 hours away from the closest branch, so you kind of feel like you're out there on your own a little bit. But we had Parker killed it with the hires. We had two of the five stick around the whole time. So It's always huge when you can keep guys that came in the first day and they're still there when you left. So,
Do you feel like those people that didn't make it had that mentality of like they know it all, or what didn't work out?
I wouldn't say they had the mentality of they know it all. Like, they were more than willing to learn. They just, when it came time to do what needed to be done, they just weren't willing to do that.
Sometimes it's not for everyone too.
No, it's not.
I feel like
It's not.
and it's hard to prepare them for what's actually going to go on. You know, obviously we can do our best, but sometimes I tell everyone it's just like a lead, right? If we go to 10 or get 10 customers to call us, we'll set 6 appointments. We'll be able to demo 5. We'll be able to close 3 of them. So it's really all a numbers game, you know. And most people go through their life where they find 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 jobs before they find the one that they like. So we kind of do the same thing, right? We bring guys in, you know, if they want to be here, great. We show them the way and they work their way up. And some guys, you know, decide it's not for them, which it's no hard feelings to us either. You know, that just allows us to move faster to find the people that do want to be here, which will ultimately create, you know, a stronger brand and culture and work environment for AE.
I feel like salespeople, it's a lot different. Like, you know, you have to be able to stay positive when things aren't going your way. You have to be able to handle no. And it's not nearly as manual, like stress on your body as it is like on your mind. Like what do you look for out of a crew member? Or I guess what has worked when it comes to like the people that have stuck around?
I think the people that do stick around, they always find a way to be positive for the most part. They find a way to be positive when there's not much to be positive about. You know, like it's really easy to just mail it in for the day if something goes wrong on your first install. It's real easy to just, you know, start chewing guys out on your crew when something's not going your way. And the guys that I feel like always stick around are the guys that just don't do that. You know, they're always just going to be there for the team. And yeah, things aren't always going their way, but they find a way to make it happen. So,
How'd you have to retrain yourself from, you know, working on a crew to leading a crew?
From working on a crew to leading a crew. I think from working on a crew to leading a crew, the biggest thing is like when you're just working on the crew, like you're just doing step by step what needs to be done. But like when you're leading the crew, like you're beginning the project with the end in mind. So like you're making sure everything's lined up, this and that, everybody's in the right spot. Whereas when you're just on the crew, you're kind of just, you know, doing what you're told to do. Like you do this, you do this. But like when you're leading the crew, like you're putting everybody in those positions.
Would you rather lead or would you rather just work on the crew?
I'd rather lead the crew for sure. For sure.
For what reason?
I just like to be in control of how it's going to turn out.
You're a control freak.
Be safe, I guess.
Went darker for a second too.
My favorite thing about leading, whenever I was leading a crew or now obviously leading an organization or leading a sales team, was just showing people how to become something more than just right here, like the surface level. And I feel like in the leadership role, you know, and you've seen it too, and you talked about it from Charlotte, you're like, that was my best one yet, talking about Johnny. Like it's always super fucking cool. You get a different sort of accomplishment when you send somebody off on their own and it's like, dude, I built that. Rather than you actually constructing the curb, you're like, I built that. So that's always been my favorite part, is like training people and recruiting them and bringing them in and just forming teams. It's almost like playing fantasy football except with like people, which is super fucking cool to me.
Yeah, and ultimately you're showing those guys how to make a better living too. So
You obviously, Parker, you've had a lot more experience, like higher level too. Like you've hired GMs, like you've hired people that are in me and Brock's position and like trained them to be where they're at. Like from a crew lead to like a project manager or a general manager, like what traits do they have that you can't necessarily train?
Like a lot of it, like Brock said, it has to do with the calmness, being able to just maintain a level head through the fire, because it's not sweet. right? When you level up into the crew lead spot, everybody wants to become a crew lead until they become a crew lead. And then they realize how much the crew lead actually does. So I think just being able to maintain the calmness throughout the fire is one of the biggest things that I look for in order to put a person in a position of like management.
So they don't necessarily, it's not necessarily the fact that they want the position, they know what it takes to get there.
Yeah.
You said one thing that really struck out to me, because you talked about when you were with Pillars, kind of moving him to Charlotte, and you were like, yeah, I mean, you know, it's not always the best closer, it's not always the person that can lay the best border. It comes down to being a good person. Can you train being a good person?
Brock?
Are you talking to me?
Either.
He was talking to me, but I want to see what your answer is.
Honestly, I don't know that you can train being a good person. I kind of just think that's something that you have. I don't really know if you can train somebody to be a good person, but yeah, I don't think you can, no.
Here's the reality.
Get ready for a clip farm right here.
Surface level emotions and characteristics, absolutely trainable. Right? Deeper emotions, I'll never be able to train. Right? I can't teach you how to be a hard worker. You either have it or you don't. But I can teach you how to trowel. I can teach you how to talk properly, like those different things. So it's just about how deep do we want to go? Like, and what level of, what are we trying to pull out of the person? And that's sometimes where you as a leader, you're positioning the person differently, because some spots they should be good at, or they would be good in that role. So I think it comes down to us as well for positioning them in the right role. I've seen guys that could have been phenomenal crew leads, and they're just like, I'm very honest with them. I'm like, dude, I don't think you should do it because I enjoy having you here more than trying to put you in a crew lead spot and watch you go off and eventually blow up, because there's a lot more that comes with it. So some of the deeper rooted characteristics about people, I don't think are trainable. Those sometimes either people have it or they don't. And sometimes it just takes time for them to develop. You know, obviously I've changed a shitload since I was 12 to 16 to 18 to 21 to 25 to 26. Or not 26 yet, I'm only 25. But going through that process, I mean, definitely as you grow and as you mature and as you get more experience, you know, changes people quite a bit, I think.
Have you've tried to change somebody's, not skill, but you've tried to train a good person?
I've tried to really, like, you know, put my foot behind somebody that I had my doubts about, and, you know, it hasn't worked out. It's blown up in my face. And looking back on it, it's kind of like, I probably shouldn't have done that, because I would have rather had that person in our organization, maybe rather be I shouldn't say lower level player, but like not put as much responsibility on them, whether it be because they weren't ready yet or because they'll never be ready, either or. But that's definitely something I've learned over the years, is not to, you know, you can't put your foot behind somebody that doesn't want to move.
It doesn't stop. It sounds, I mean, again, like you talked about, like the experience is the best teacher, and you get great experience training other people, and ultimately that trains you as a leader too.
Yeah.
How, Brock, what do you think you still need to work on as a leader?
I would say that I probably need to up my sense of urgency a little bit. I mean, I'm pretty laid back. I'm pretty nonchalant about it. You know, I think Braden said it the other day. He said he's good at training people because he doesn't have an impatient bone in his body. And I really don't. It's just, you know, it's a good thing at times, you know, when people are, you know, just getting their feet wet in it. But, you know, it can also kind of be a problem if people think that they can just, you know, move slowly.
We're putting a lot of good shit on the record here.
Yeah.
I'm proud of you, man. I'm going to write this all down and hold it against you for sure.
I wouldn't expect anything less from you.
I think that's the same thing For me though, like what my biggest strength is could ultimately be my weakness. Like I feel like I'm really good at emotionally connecting with guys and like wanting to make them better. But ultimately, like sometimes I put myself in a position where I can't because I've became too friendly with them. Parker, what is like what would you say you need to work on?
I could definitely get just sometimes more of an understanding. I know as emotionally, I typically show a lot of emotion. No, I need to probably be more understanding. You know, just like a sales pitch, right? That's what makes a really good sales rep, when they can sit there and listen to understand rather than listen to respond. And sometimes, you know, most people would say this about me. More times than not, my mind's kind of already made up before I go into a situation. Whereas there should be, let's sit down, have the conversation. Let's reflect on this a little bit. Let's understand it. And then let's come back, you know, with an evaluated response to this, rather than just being like, let's go and let's go now. So I think, like you guys said, finding that happy medium, right? We're not having too much urgency and not having not enough urgency. It should be right there in the middle, and knowing, right? Knowing when to throttle it up and throttle it down is, you know, if you can control that, you're pretty dangerous. Brock, what's next on the agenda in 2026 for you?
2026, just gonna go wherever you guys send me to start another one.
How many do you think you have in your bag in 2026? How many crew leads do you think?
I just got the last one ready in 7 weeks. We've got what, like 40 something weeks we curb. So if you do the math, I'd probably say 5, maybe 5. I'd say 3 to 5. 3 to 5. I got 3 ready this year, so I'm gonna say 5.
What's the end goal
For me?
Yep.
I'd probably just say, you know, take as many people on this ride as we can. You know, it's pretty cool to see from where we started. And then we've added guys like, you know, Cameron, Devin. And it's cool to see those guys keep moving up. So I would say that's my goal, is to keep giving guys the opportunity to move up.
There's so many people that are going to be affected by this conversation or conversations we've had, which is the coolest part about all this. So I definitely agree. Adding as many people to the bus as we can and just get this thing going a fucking 1,000 miles an hour.
Final thoughts, boys?
I already gave my drop of knowledge. We need to cut up, but
here's the thing. In order to get good at the trainable things, you have to work on what's untrainable. And I think that comes down to opening up your mind, like whether that's as a leader or an employee. There's always ways to get better, which ultimately will bleed into the skills that can be trained.